doing an audit, we just started one to go through everything we sent out when we did the South Harbor project.
Is there software or some way to check that through the year? Because I know just through listening in the community that people know when their slips due and they then know they have to provide insurance. And then they can let their insurance lapse or cancel their policy as soon as they've proven to you that they have.
You are correct, they can, if they are, which we did put in our new form, additionally insured.
Yeah.
If additionally insured, that means their State Farm, Seamount, whoever is required to send us the information when they cancel their policy. So that's the part of the additionally insured, the city of Cordova would be additionally insured, and they would be.
Like a
That's
lien
what we're
holder.
gonna- Sure, what's that?
Yeah, we'd be like the lien holder.
Right,
What other insurance options are out there that we don't have that benefit of receiving that notification? Does that cover all insurance? If someone provides any insurance, every insurance that we receive, we're gonna receive a notification?
I believe if
Okay.
they have us, the way I understand from other harbors, if we are written as the additional insured, they are required to sign that.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
We're working in that direction to get that, but yeah.
That sounds awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Online, are there any questions for Tony regarding the enterprise fund or at this point, the harbor fee schedule?
Yeah, I've got one,
Okay, Tom, go ahead.
and he knows what it is. It's the launch ramp fee, which seems cheap, and then how many people are actually paying it?
I do not know exactly, I think, I have to look and see what it was budgeted at, but, 25 people.
Okay, there's gotta be more than 25 people using that ramp.
I
So
would agree.
yeah, so I don't know how, I would think we could up it a little bit, and seeing as it's a new harbor, I think it's still a great asset for, I use it anytime I want, which is great. For $100 is nothing. And then we probably need to clamp down a little bit about people that are using it and not paying.
I would agree, better job enforcing that.
And I missed which line were we speaking to there?
That was for the drive,
Launch
no,
ramp.
launch ramp.
So page 25. 44, 150.
And fee schedule.
No, it's not, I think. You're talking about the fee schedule, right?
Right,
Yeah.
but
I'm looking at both. I'm trying to compare, where is that calculated in the fee schedule for using the ramp? Is that $100?
page 44 at the very bottom. $100 a year, 30 for a 2-week permit, stall holders get no charge. Great. And then you have revenue of 2,100 in. No, was that what it was? Yeah.
And
launch
is
ramp.
this use for both ramps?
That's correct.
Wow. Okay. I get, how is what do we refer to as this ramp? For those who can't see, I'm pointing over by AML,
The north
That's
ramp.
the
north ramp. Okay. I guess, how is that? How is enforcement done over there?
Yeah.
I don't want to say it in public. but-
Is there an opportunity for better enforcement to be over there? Is that
Yes,
a
there
better
is.
question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Council members can volunteer to sit on a bar stool out there.
Good idea.
Fair. Okay. Do you, I mean, is this 100 a year competitive? Is that just a number we threw out there, or it's always been this number?
No, I don't even remember what it was. We changed it a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I think it's fairly competitive.
Okay.
except
Used to be
for-
$80.
Okay, 80, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity there. Let's, I guess, focus this year on enforcement, and then we can reevaluate if maybe that needs to be a little higher, but once we have a new harbor. And then going back to, you mentioned the new line item in here in the fee schedule for vessels over half the width. Is there a reason that if there's a vessel in there and you can't use the other side of the finger, why aren't we charging them for 2 slips? We're not collecting any revenue on the other one. Why wouldn't it be double?
I mean, we could, but we end up putting like usually a smaller boat in that's less in length, so it's less in width.
Sure.
So,
But are there some that are more than half and you just cannot use that for another boat? Are there some vessels that fit that category? Just curious.
not right now.
Okay. And then thank you for running. I think this is a step in the right direction. Thank you.
Put all the boats out of the water, so anybody sponsoring their boats?
No, not right now.
Is there any other questions for Tony?
Kenny is on the line too.
Oh, okay.
Did we ever settle on what we were doing with lightering and cruise ship fees?
You mean head tax?
Yeah. And Megan, they said it's back live again. Everything looks good.
He just went to check.
We did talk about that earlier. And I think the idea was to hold through this year, try to see how, Kathy Renfeld's, grant opportunities or program goes to get more, services for the people coming off the boats, because that was one of the concerns that the operators had, was that it just didn't really offer a lot of amenities on shore. So
we're gonna keep it as, or the slight increase for this year. Does that answer your question, Wendy?
Yeah, I just didn't hear that discussion.
Okay. And Kenny, Susan just told me you were online. Do you have any questions for Tony?
Maybe he's on and off.
I see it says Kenny's phone.
Okay, I'll be got himself muted. Maybe.
Yeah. All right, we're good. Everybody good with harbor? We're gonna move on to sewer water. Thanks, Tony.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, this is you.
Yep. We did increase the rates for commercial and industrial. We left residential as is. As I mentioned in the memo, we recently got those 2 grants for master plans, which will include rate studies. One of the things you can do in a rates, there's multiple things you can do with a rate study, but one is identify users, portions, and impacts to the system. And we certainly need to look at that when we go from 0.7 million gallons of water average in the winter to over 3 and as high as 3.5 million a day during peak season. So I believe the raises that we've incorporated in are adequate to get us through and hopefully get us even through the audit minus the depreciation funds, because we can't ever minus the depreciation as assessments, because we can never pay $900,000 in depreciation and be positive. So we can make our loan payments, we can do our operations and wages and become positive. Barely, right now. So we'll figure, we have things to work on. We're trying to move in that direction. We also have future projects that we all know about. That master plan will help us with that. It will also help us with grants. I'm also working with Agnew Beck to help me find grants and help me write grants. Resilience, climate change, those kinds of grants are difficult. They take a lot of finagling research and things like that. So for right now, we need help with that. Well, not right now, all time, I need help with that. So we're working through there. We have a plan in place for that. And I don't know if anybody has any questions. Let me.
So just so everybody knows, sewer enterprise funds are on page 28, 29, 30. Water is 31 and 32. 33, that's their funds. And for, fee schedule, water's 50 through 52,
49
49, sorry.
through 52 is water and sewer.
Water and sewer, 49 through 52. And all the changes are highlighted in yellow.
And it's, I put it 10%, 5%, 5% in the one place. I think most of them are 5% of those other ones.
10% for industrial, 5% for.
Okay, that's what it is. Fighting
Excellent.
formatting.
Kim, Kim's on there.
Yes, I've heard from the community, and I know last week, I believe it was Mr. Brown was speaking to the difference in a single, how there currently isn't a difference in the fee schedule, for a multi-family, a rental unit essentially, and a single family dwelling, is something that has.
Well,
been
if it's a multifamily,
We're talking about one toilet, or if you're looking at a rental unit, essentially it's probably one bathroom unit. I'm just looking at usage on our system, so sewer, water, that's what we're looking at now. One rental unit is gonna use less of that resource versus a single family dwelling, but
Well,
let's just say.
based on, I mean, you could have a family of 4 in a rental. And a family of 4 in a single family house.
And that's why I'm bringing it up, just if that's a lot, and that's great.
Like, it's a very
Yeah.
difficult thing to try to go by people or use. I don't know how we would manage that
Okay,
as a city, same with refuse, even we're the same concerns with refuse. And to be able to count trash bags or, it's just, it's an administrative. We'd have to hire a person or more.
Right,
Right.
I mean, the only thing you could do is water by,
the meter.
meter.
But then we would have to meet in the entire.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
That's the huge-
So sewer and refuse are impossible.
And that's why I bring up just based on those are a multifamily versus a single family, and that's what I've heard in the community, why is one charged the same rate as the other one, that's what I'm bringing up.
Well, and families.
So we're going off of it. And I see everything is straight across. So thank you for playing double, triple duty on this one, Sam.
She's still got another one to go.
Mm.
Anybody online have any questions regarding water or sewer and the rate changes?
I'm good.
Just a quick comment. We've talked about the chamber in previous meetings, and there is an in-kind service. It's not that much, but there again, the city is putting money towards that building.
Okay, do you wanna do refuse too, Sam? So I'm trying to find the right pages.
Oh, we won't get by the
35
Thank you,
in the
Susan.
packet is the operating. Or no, 34, 5 and 6.
And
Residents earlier in fee schedule, I will change this. I know, maybe it's not, is it left?
47 and 48 in the fee schedule.
No.
I think we need like 10 more pieces of paper.
Yeah,
That is pretty compact.
it's actually great.
Well, for some reason I've lost refuse. Oh. I found it.
And you didn't do anything, I don't think. right?
Correct, there was
rate
no,
changes.
increases in refuse, we are doing okay. we, recently, so I guess this is, next meeting, you'll see a request to purchase a hook truck through a loan through the permit fund, yeah. Recently sold that excavator and have some CIP money to put towards it, and that is a huge deal for us because if the hook truck dies, that has over 200,000 miles, which is between Cordova, this transfer station and the landfill only. If that dies, we can't move those boxes. Well, you know, we could do loaders or something like that, but it's obviously not efficient, so. That is our big investment with that $43,000 to add it to the 100 or 75 we have in the CIP so that we can get that. We have just been able to do okay with the last rate increase we had, which I think was 2 years ago. So we'll hold steady for now. Yeah.
Any questions in the room for Sam on refuse? Any questions online for refuse?
Yes, I have some.
Okay, Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, we've had discussions in previous meetings about the deplorable condition of the road and just the wear and tear on those trucks running out there to the landfill. It went all the way from having a discussion with the state to even seeing if we could even grade it ourselves. So that road is definitely tearing the vehicles up. Have we looked into anything, or is it just the status quo?
No, we've actually gone out there and, to help Robbie out when he's been short and trying to deal with, the airport. We have graded, we grade our portion often. And then we have also sanded when the trucks need to go out there. And I will say that the hook truck's been running back and forth for 20 years, you know, but yeah, it is tough right now. And I think Robbie did get another guy on, and so hopefully things will be getting better for that crew too. And I think it'll help a lot. But we have helped out.
Okay, because that's probably the biggest comment I get from people in town seeing those trucks, because their own experience of driving out there is so bad. So thank you.
Any other questions online for refuse? Hearing none, are there any other questions on the fee schedule?
There's
Did I miss-
Zodiac is in
Oh,
here.
sorry, I missed Zodiac. I apologize, Duncan. So Zodiac Camper Park,
On page 37.
thanks, Susan, page 37. And where is it? Yeah, so fee schedule for Zodiac Camper Park is on page 37. 43. And 43 for.
The fee schedule's on 43.
Oh, what am I looking at? Okay, revenues are on 37, sorry.
Wait, Duncan. Come on up, have a chair.
So Duncan has joined us at the table. Are there any questions online regarding Zodiac Camper Park? Their enterprise fund or fee schedule?
Is there a reason we're anticipating less revenue, but
Yeah, so, this year's budget was 51,300, more than 33,000. The question we always have is, we can't control demand.
Sure.
That seems to be dropping for seasonal visitors. I obviously don't have much history, but from my understanding, at some point in time, we had 20-ish seasonal campers, and now down between 8 and 10. And my estimate is, given the harbour we built, I'm not sure we'll get that many. Be nice, right? So, yeah, I'm trying to be a bit more realistic, around that.
Thank you.
Since 2020, there's been a significant drop off in that camper park there. Is it just a change in economics and the fishing, or people upset with the service they're getting or the condition? Do you know any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously fishing is the big elephant in the room, and whether there's a lesser demand for people coming from outside of Alaska to fish, I don't know. Yeah, we get comments that the value for money is not superb. The $975 a month, I don't get much. And they get power, they don't get water to their site, they don't get sewer to their site. Facilities are tired. Yeah, there's not much for their families to do there. Essentially a gravel parking lot. Yeah. But yeah, what I've seen is people come in half, whether they're coming back, they've come back, but that number seems to be less. So, I don't know whether they're going to other destinations to fish or just getting out of,
Yeah, Kathy, this is Allison.
Yeah, go ahead, Mayor Allison.
Yeah, my observation is that COVID taught all of the fishermen's families that they didn't necessarily need to be here sitting in our camper park while the rest of the family was out fishing. They could stay home and be just as fine. So I mean that's pretty much what did it. Before COVID, we had a waiting line for that camper park and they all came over, but once COVID hit and they couldn't come over, then when COVID went away, they're now been trained that they don't need to be here, just like every other thing that COVID affected. So that's what I see.
Any other questions or comments for Duncan?
Thank you.
Thanks, Duncan. Did I miss anything, Susan?
Not on the budget side. Fee schedule's in there, I think, but
Yeah, any other questions on fee schedule?
Yeah, if I can get Kevin to come up, that'd be okay.
Sure, Kevin.
Now we have to find the plan and decide it.
39.
Thanks, Susan.
This is why I follow me online. I don't know why I have to do it. I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to speak to fees for commercial. If I get to there. I guess I would just ask for commercial industrial, is there an opportunity for our building permits to be higher there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on what the city feels like, is a just number for the service that they're receiving for the building permit. I've said this before. We don't do plan review, so realistically, the only thing that the city is reviewing with these permits is that they're meeting the zoning regulations for setbacks, height, parking, use, things like that. And then I have been going out and trying to do setback inspections if they're building a new building or doing a addition onto a building. Other than that, I mean, there's no, like, there's no plan review, there's no inspection, so it just depends on what do we feel is fair to charge for, the permit based on, versus what they're actually getting for it.
I just know I struggle with this one because I know that we're definitely leaving money on the table here.
Yeah, most places, the building, permit fees are tied to the ITC fee schedule, which is based off of, what the value of the structure being built is.
At a percentage.
Kind of, it's like a range where, like, if the building is, say it's $70,000 in value, there's a range where between $50,000 and $100,000, this is what the fee is, yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess I just, again, going back down south, the places where I live, commercial and industrial are tied a percentage. So it's 1% or 3%, or it's, whatever that's set at.
Yeah.
Not saying, yeah. Again, maybe the question is, what do we need to do to get to a point where we can charge more for a building permit and offer, maybe more of a product, but because we're offering more of a product, we can charge more for that product. Does that make sense? Is that an appropriate question?
Providing inspection services would be something that we could do. Someone on staff would need to get certified to be a building inspector. There's different levels of that, so whether we just do it for residential permits, since that's the lowest level, or commercial. But then again, are we bringing on additional staff? Is that duty falling on me? If it is, then my other duties, how's that working? So, it's something that can be done. It would just be a matter of what do we change or what do we sacrifice?
Okay. And I guess with this, more particular to commercial and industrial, what risk are we opening ourselves up to by not having a proper inspection process? If there's a negligent addition, I'll just put it that way, on something that's commercial and industrial, our industry's fishing, and people lose their lives.
So with anything that, basically, commercial, industrial, and residential structures that are 4 units or more are required to have, fire marshal review and approval, and then, they require inspections. So those things are handled through the state. It's more of a, I don't know if they do a structural review, like a true building permit review. I think it's more just the fire and life safety for fire suppression, exit, ingress, egress, things like that. But there is some level of review and inspection for those permits.
Okay. Yeah. And I guess without having that fee structure, do we charge for that service?
No, that's not through the state. The state fire marshal is regulated.
Okay, not our local fire.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess more to come on this, if we need to have an inspector in town or not, but.
Yeah, and that is something that I've heard from people, having to fly in inspectors every time they have to have an inspection, it does add to development costs in town, so. Does having somebody on staff that can provide that service, help with increasing development in town? We can also then, we could raise our fees to help compensate for the time needed for that position. I don't know, we have trouble hiring as it is, but if there's someone locally that wants to get certified, we just have them on call as an on-call employee or something. There's lots of ways we can try to figure something out.
Is there an opportunity for, and I know I believe talked offline a little bit of this, is there a value to the city if we organized an inspector coming in a set time amount, once a quarter, twice a year? If we were loosely providing this service to the community, or at least organizing this service to the community, would that justify charging more money for a building permit?
I could look more into that. I think, you're gonna run into the whole issue of just people are on different timing schedules. So, yeah.
There used to be a few people in town who were certified building inspectors, but I think one has moved away and the other has let his certification lapse.
Didn't Tom used to do that?
I don't know, Mr. Baylor is retired, maybe he could do it.
Well, I would disagree that the city should provide that service. It's there's only, to begin with, there's only a few people that will travel to remote areas like Cordova. It's very hard to get a commercial inspector. But if you're building the house, I think if we have it in our code that requires a building inspector, that's the furthest we need to go. And then, it's up to the builder to get somebody in there and make sure it's done right. The building, we used to have an inspector there. Actually, RJ Kopchak was an inspector years ago, but the requirements and the insurance got so onerous that there isn't enough work in town for the cost to do that. For somebody to be in Cordova, be an inspector, the insurance, the training, it's really not worth it. So I don't think you're gonna get somebody that lives here to do it. But just put it in there that on a new construction, you require a building inspection, and that's up to them. It's just the cost of doing business. It's somewhere around $1,400 to $2,000. It's not that big of a hit on a building.
Thank you.
Any other questions on fee schedule? Going once, going twice? Does that satisfy staff? You're good.
Just a quick comment on the building inspection. A few years ago, there was a building put in town, and I noticed that the roof overhang was improper. I got a hold of the fire marshal, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I did make a mistake." They said, "But if you read the fine print on the bottom of the page, it says it's not the state's fault. It's up to the builder to make sure that he's correct." So they don't take any responsibility either.
All right. So Susan, should we end and take a short break before a regular meeting?
Yeah, we can't start till 7.
Okay, and is it the same number for those people calling in?
No, I think
Okay,
there's, on the email, you should have had a second, Zoom invite for the
okay.
regular, so we'll start the regular at 7.
Yeah, so we'll start the regular at 7 and we'll close out the work session at this point in time.
Thank you.
Thank you.